Are tiny land crustaceans wreaking havoc on your garden? These pill-shaped, hard-shelled decomposers, aptly called pill bugs, roll themselves into a ball to protect themselves from predators, which is why some people call them roly-polies. They aren't inherently bad and are part of the natural ecosystem, but in certain situations, populations can get out of control, specifically in greenhouse environments where there are no natural predators. They can eat the roots of your young plants before they have a chance to establish themselves, which is every gardener's worst nightmare. So if they're everywhere and they're part of the natural ecosystem and they have no predators in this type of environment, how do we get rid of them? That's what we're going to talk about today. Pill bugs or roly-polies are often found in extremely dry, extremely moist, or otherwise protected areas, such as areas with lots of mulch or underneath pavestones or potted plants. In order to keep these pill bugs at bay, we want to make sure that we remove as much of that habitat as we can, so taking away any mulch and ensuring that our soils are happy and healthy. We like to do this by making sure that we have plenty of organic matter within the soil so that the pill bugs, which are decomposers, can decompose that organic matter and stay away from our plants. We do this by applying compost to the top of our raised garden beds, utilizing compost tea and fish emulsion to water our greenhouse garden beds, and we also utilize mycorrhiza to help improve the root structure of our plants. By doing this, we can, again, keep those pill bugs away from our plants and decomposing that other organic matter. Protecting young plants from roly-polies is relatively easy. We like to place a paper cup or a plastic cup with the bottom removed around our young seedlings to help protect them from the roly-polies. You will likely want to use plastic in your greenhouse because of water and humidity, but paper also works just fine because eventually you're going to want to remove those cups once your plants have become established, primarily for aesthetic reasons, but also so that your plants can continue to grow. Now that we have the defense sorted out, let's work on the offense and tackle the problem. I'm a gardener, I know nothing about football, so if I got that backwards, please forgive me. You get my point. Anyways, we're going to talk about traps now. There are three main traps that we use to diminish our roly-poly population, and these are beer traps, fruit or potato traps, or sticky traps. When it comes to beer traps, any beer will do. The polies aren't picky. You'll want to fill your cup with beer and submerge the cup so that the lip of the cup is level with the soil surface. The roly-polies will crawl into the cup and drown in the beer. This method is extremely effective, but it can get a little bit smelly, so it is important to remember to change out these traps about every 2 days. For fruit or potato traps, you'll want to take your potato, or an orange let's say, and slice that into about 1/4 inch slices. You'll place it on the soil surface in the evening and come back and check on it in the morning. When you flip over that fruit or potato, you'll likely see that there is a plethora of pill bugs that are feeding on it. You will want to have a bucket handy so that you can scrape those pill bugs off into the bucket and dispose of them. If you happen to have a growing dome, you can feed them to your fish as a nice little snack. And then you can reuse that slice for a few days. There's plenty of fruits and vegetables that will work, so experiment and see if your roly-polies have a preference, or just utilize things that you have like food scraps and other waste.
So what we have here is a little strange, and I kind of honestly discovered this by accident. What I had done was do a little cardboard mulching for some carrots. It helps really kind of speed up and ensure good germination to cover your carrots with cardboard. And what I found was a million roly-polies under that small piece of cardboard. So what I thought to do was basically take a small piece of cardboard, put some what I'm going to call bait underneath of it. So just a, dead leaf or, something that I pruned off of another plant, put it under here. And basically the idea is that roly-polies are detritivores. What they're supposed to do is eat dead, decaying plant matter. That's what they're supposed to do. When they run out of things to eat, then they move on to things like living plants, which is really unfortunate. So when I do this, they tend to typically congregate in little piles underneath the leaves, and then I can just come in here and kind of pick them up really quick and then get rid of them. It works unfortunately well, but it is kind of time consuming. So we're gonna do a little bit of roly-poly pickup and just kind of move some of this stuff around.
Finally, we have sticky traps. I will admit that these are my personal favorite because there's no smell and they're relatively low maintenance. We have utilized a PVC pipe that's cut in half lengthwise, and we put duct tape on the bottom with the sticky side oriented up. That way it creates a tunnel for the pill bugs to crawl into. Remember, they like protected areas, and they will get stuck on the duct tape, and then you could just throw that duct tape away and start over. If you don't have a PVC pipe, you can also utilize toilet paper or paper towel rolls, and that way you could just dispose of it when you're done. Diatomaceous earth can be used for extreme infestations and will dry out the insects, but it's not selective, so timing is key because it will also dry out beneficial insects. You'll want to sprinkle your diatomaceous earth along the edges of your raised garden beds or anywhere where you see that you have an infestation. You'll want to make sure that you wear a mask because the diatomaceous earth is a very finely milled powder and it's not something you want to breathe in. But once it has set for about 2 days, you can go ahead and water it or mix it into the soil, and then you can release your beneficials without worry. Try out one or a few of these methods to help keep your pill bugs at bay and have your garden thrive throughout the seasons.